Greetings, hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to DevChatter. Hey, my name is Brendan. As you can probably tell from the scratchiness in my voice, I am actually getting over a cold that I had last week. That's why we missed our last week's stream. I apologize about that, but hello everyone. Hopefully you're having a fantastic Saturday. Let's see, what do we need to go over? So, obviously, for those of you that don't know, my name is Brendan. I am the host of the DevChatter live stream. DevChatter is more than just a live stream. We're actually a pretty awesome community of developers here on the interwebs. And if you want to be a part of that group, I recommend both that you attend our live streams, but also check out our Discord, because there are a number of developers over there. We've got like 500 some people in our Discord, something like that. And, all people that are either professional software developers or beginner software developers interested in getting involved in programming and improving what they do. So obviously the big thing with our community here is that we are very open and welcoming, so whether you are entirely new to programming or you think you're going to ask stupid questions, doesn't matter. Trust me, they're really not stupid questions because we probably asked them at some point also. The neat thing about programming is that you're always learning it, so as part of that, we're a very welcoming community and we like to help people out. So feel free to check us out over there. If you want to see any of the code that we do on stream, all of that is actually available out on GitHub at github.com/devchatter. All the links that I'm talking about are posted both in the chat as well as down below the stream. And then lastly, if you are new to the stream and you want to see what it's all about, you can actually watch archives of all of our streams in the past. They're out on our YouTube channel. Most of them are broken out into playlists. So if one of our projects is interesting and you want to see how we built it, feel free to check out one of our playlists and you can actually watch the whole process as we went through building each of our projects. So feel free to take a look at all of that. So yeah. Obviously, if you are one of the regulars here on the stream, you know that I missed a whole bunch of streams here due to just life stuff going on. I was at a funeral for one of our scheduled streams, and then I've had some other issues with, like, I'll say, like, emergency room visits and hospital time with not me, but a family member. So I have been unable to get the time to stream lately. However, I am back, and this should be regular again with us doing our streams. For now, we're still going to be sticking to the weekends as my current schedule is jam-packed. For those of you that don't know, I am an independent software developer, so I work with a variety of different clients. Occasionally, my schedule gets a little bit jam-packed when I have, too many clients, things like that. So, either way, I am going to have some fun today. So today I wanted to have us do a programming exercise, and I see I left the old stream description right there. We're going to fix that. Where is that? That is this one. We're just going to leave it as that for now. So we're just going to say coding exercises, and I'll fill it in when we decide which one we're doing. Okay, so what do I do when I am looking for a coding exercise to work on? Well, the first thing I do is I head out to Steve Smith's GitHub page. And why do I go here? Well, Steve and I worked together for, I don't even remember how many years, I don't know, 8, 9 years, something like that, depending on how you count it. Arguably, I work with him right now, sort of. Back when Steve and I were working at a consulting firm, we put together a bunch of katas that we like. This is the kata catalog that we've got going here, and this is a good set of katas to work on. I do like this group. They are not the worst to work with. I've done plenty of them many times, so this one I haven't done though. So let's do it. So obviously when we know what this one's about, This one is about ISBN numbers on books. So if you've ever read a book before, you know that they have one of these little barcodes on the back, and getting that to... yeah, that's not going to get lined up quite right. ISBN numbers have... how many digits are on this one? 4, 7, 12, 13. So this is a 13-digit number on there. So ISBN 13, which means it's... what format are we in? Looks like this book is in, roughly speaking, that format. What's a book? Well, you see, Ace Flames here, a long time ago, what people used to do is they would cut down like trees and other plants, and then they would like mash up the pulp into pages, and then they would bind them together and print on those pages. See? It's really neat. Star Wars books too. It's always important to have books within reach. Yeah. Hey, Strife, yes. Yeah, that's right, Ace Flames here. They made them out of trees. It was really weird. Okay. So that's an ISBN number. Obviously, if you have an older book, you might have a 10-digit ISBN. Obviously, at some point, they realized that's not enough numbers, and so they made ISBN 13 to give them a whole bunch more numbers to make more, well, books, essentially. You just picked up Eloquent JavaScript and C# 4 in C# in-depth 4. Nice, Desert Griffin. Yeah, I have not read C# in-depth 4. Actually, I technically haven't read any of those. I think I've skimmed one or two of them. But I have had a lot of conversations with John Skeet, and I know that he knows C# inside and out. So if I wanted to read a book that was going to go way in depth into C#, I would probably choose his. There's probably someone doing that on YouTube. Doing what on YouTube? Cutting down trees? Okay. So, ISBN 10. So, obviously, this kata has to do with ISBN numbers. So it's made up of 9 digits plus a check digit. Ah, okay. That could be an X. X must be like a 10 or something. ISBN 13 is made up of 12 digits and a check digit. Spaces and times may be included in the code but are not significant. This means that that number is equivalent to the... okay, so it doesn't matter where they separated. The number is always still the same. The check digit is calculated by multiplying each digit. Oh, okay. Got it. So there's some complexity with how they do the check digit. Some of these processes taking the module of 10 to get the results and subtracting this value from 10. Okay. Let's see. I like the way that John Skeet describes things, very carefully and precise with his wording. Yeah, I'm also one of those people that tries to be careful with my wording. Although I will point out when I am explaining things to large groups or beginners, because I am always very precise with my words, I will sometimes lie to people, and by that I mean like, I will not draw certain distinctions that don't matter if I think it is going to cause confusion to the group, because there are points where if you explain it entirely truthfully, you will confuse people. So for example, if I'm talking to someone and they switch argument and parameter and they don't use, like they just, you know, invert it and say the wrong one, I obviously don't correct them and I just continue with that, and I will actually attempt to still use whatever word they did, just so that it's not confusing, because that distinction doesn't really matter too much. Usually what's happening is most of the time people are using argument for both the argument and the parameter, for example. But there is actually a difference. So, depth of knowledge and how he can get his point across. Yes. Yeah, so we actually had John as a guest on the stream at the end of last year. And we did some interesting stuff with time zones. It was very enlightening to have him on for that, because there's a lot of complexity in time zones that we don't even think about. So, okay. So, how do we want to approach this? I am going to make a test project. rather than have it in the same library, let's just say XUnit. So we'll do an XUnit netcore project. And for anyone that is wondering, because this actually gets a lot of people, with .NET Core and .NET Standard and .NET Framework, you'll notice that my console application right here and my unit test application are both .NET Core 3, not .NET Standard. And the reason for that is that .NET Core and .NET Framework are you can think of them as the runtimes. There's a .NET Core runtime and there's a .NET Framework runtime. There is no runtime for .NET Standard. You can kind of think of .NET Standard as either an abstract class or an interface, something like that. That's usually the way I try to help people understand it, in that you don't really have, like, you never really run as .NET Standard or like, you always run as .NET Framework or .NET Core. But if you have something in .NET Standard, that's kind of like saying, oh no, this one works for either. It's depending on the interface, not on a specific implementation of the runtime. So when you write something in Standard, just think of that as I wrote it depending on an interface instead of depending on a concrete class, and I could have either Standard, I can have Core or Framework at runtime. So hopefully that is a good explanation that helps people understand that. Okay, so what's first? Sorry. Okay. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I had a bit of a cold last week and still have the lingering cough. Luckily, there's no chance of sharing any of those germs with anyone through the stream. My microphone's good, but it's not that good. Alright, so we need to create a function that takes a string and returns true if it's valid. Okay. So I like things to compile. That's one of my favorite things to have happen. So let's go ahead and say public class. Let's call it ISBN validator for now, because we could put this code somewhere else. For now, it's going to be an ISBN validator. We'll make it static, and later we can decide if we want to actually do something more with it, make it a class that's actually injectable or something like that if we're continuing on in our library. But for simplicity of this test, we're going to keep it this way. So a parameter is on a method, and you pass arguments into the method. So the parameter is defining the acceptance of them, and the arguments are the instances of the parameters. Is usually the way I like to describe that to people. Hey, Entity Adam, welcome. Okay. So let's just make a public bool is valid. I can type. That takes in a string. Let's say ISBN string. We'll just say ISBN. I was thinking string because I'm like, oh, we want to have like the raw version of it and keep track of that. But I don't think we will. So let's go ahead and just have that throw a not implemented exception. We don't need the program CS open right now. This needs to have the ISBN validator. We're going to reference the other project and add it. Yeah, so, exactly, Entity Adam. One of the reasons why email addresses are so hard to validate is because so many things are valid email addresses. Almost everything is a valid email address. Yeah, Desert Griffin, that would be a reasonable way of writing it. That's, I mean, really where you have the word parameter is the type of that, but yeah, that's the concept. Okay, so we're gonna say, did I not make that public? Public, oh, static. Why did you not yell at me about that? Oh, it was yelling at me. That's what the red squiggle was. I was like, why did that let me do that? Oh, it didn't let me do that. Never mind. Okay, so first off, let's go ahead and handle the case that are invalid. Welcome. Thank you for that follow. I'll just go with Osbo. Yeah, I totally butchered that. If there is actually a way to say that, do go ahead and let me know, and I will actually try to say that right. Maybe there's only a part of that I'm supposed to say, but it's not all jammed together. But I will give it an effort if you do let me know. Okay, so this test is going to fail because it's going to throw an exception. However, before we get to that, I want to add a NuGet package. So let's go ahead and manage NuGet packages. We are going to add Fluent Assertions to this. If you haven't seen me use Fluent Assertions before, the reason why I like using Fluent Assertions is because it makes the text clear to read when we're doing our tests. So normally someone would say something like assert true, and then pass in this. And this is the way that someone would, well, actually, well, first off, we would assert false. However, this is what someone would normally write when they're doing this. And it's fine. If you like that syntax, go for it. I use it probably about half the time, just depending on the project. Let's just back up to before I put that in there. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that should be false. So it kind of changes the order of things when you use Fluent Assertions. You sort of say like, hey, this value should be this, or should have something about it, or should be empty, that sort of thing. So essentially you write, my thing should be something. And then that becomes the way you read it. So is valid should be false. Okay. This is going to fail, not because it comes back true, but it's going to come back and yell at us about this because the type is not correct. So this one obviously is like that. Boom. Throw a not implemented exception. Cool. Let's go ahead and return false. Now, how do we want to do this? Do we want to say it's true, like it is an ISB, it's valid until we prove otherwise? Or do we want to say it's invalid until we prove that it's valid? There's two ways to go on that one. Surly Dev, yes, I've used Steve's guard clauses library. Every afternoon, you might be right about that. You keep saying that, but then you don't answer them? Invalid until it's proven true. Okay, yeah, if you like it that way, we can do it that way. That's, you actually do the opposite with prime numbers. You attempt to prove that they are not prime, interestingly. Although there is an algorithm for that where you go the other way, and if it's still, well, do you? I don't remember. Maybe. Oh, Roland, yeah, no, it's nice. And it's easy to toss into a project. True until proven false. Yeah, it's tough to say which one. Surly Dev, the bot is written in C# and ASP.NET Core. So right now I just actually switched this off of the main branch. So the branch that we had been using for that, I am converting it to a WPF app that happens to run a website out of it. But that version is currently in a state that's not running, so hence it's not live right now. And I switched back to the old one. Okay, let's go ahead and run our test again, and let's give it a name. Okay, so let's do this. ISBN validator is valid, should, and test names are something that everybody's got, like naming structure on tests. A lot of people have different preferences on that. I like this kind of structure. I would be good with this. ISBN validator is valid, or to make it is valid and put it inside of a folder, essentially throwing that on the namespace. I'm good whichever way you want to do it, as long as you make it clear what you're testing. Given invalid ISBNs. So I'm going to change this. So I wrote this as a fact. I am going to change it from a fact to a theory. If you're not used to XUnit, difference between a fact and a theory is a fact is a single instance, and a theory has multiple instances of that test. So the theory you apply additional data to. So in this case, I'm actually just going to inline data, and I'm actually just going to put the string in there. So we're going to say string ISBN. And then instead of passing it here, I will do this. So essentially, each one of these gets passed in to that. Ken Lefebvre, welcome. Thank you for that follow, much appreciated. You're hosting a website from your app. Is that through NancyFX or something? No, so Surly Dev, with .NET Core 3, you can actually run an ASP.NET web application directly inside of a Windows application, whether it be WinForms or WPF. In fact, does anybody notice the color around me is red right now? Go ahead and type your favorite color into chat, someone. Seriously, go just type the name of a color, just the name of the color. That's all you want to put in there. Yeah, Blue Spide. I do that only for tests. Oh, look at that, blue. There. Oh, thanks, Mad Fox. Thanks, buddy. We really needed black, huh? How about lime? Lime's a nice color. There you go. So, if you're wondering how that is actually running, that is our color switcher. And our color switcher is actually a system tray-only WinForms application that we built on stream that hosts a web application, and it is actually this. So I actually start up a WinForms application that runs down in my system tray, and it controls my overlay colors. Goldenrod is a valid choice. Also, as developers, you might know some hex codes. So, for example, if you really wanted red, or actually someone just did red, so look, I made yellow. So you can actually put in, oh, yeah. Thanks, Mad Fox. Yep, there it is. Very good, Surly Dev. So yeah, you can put in whatever colors you want. It will change to the correct one and continue doing the animations. The neat thing is that that is actually for this I'm actually using an HTML canvas, so I can technically put in whatever I want. No, we don't have alpha on that Icy Black Deep. But yeah, oh, that's a very lovely like pink color there, Surly Dev. That is nice. No, just no alpha, so just RGB. I think you can do the 3 digits also. So I think that'll make it red. Yep, there you go. You can do 3 or 6 digits. Okay. So other invalid data would be like that. Does Steve have an example of an invalid one? Well, I guess I could just get the check digit wrong, huh? Some valid samples. So we'll do this and we'll just get that check digit wrong. I'm going to note that because this might come out as a separate test eventually. So right now, these should all pass. Now that doesn't really tell us anything, that's just setting our default case, which our default case is that it's false. And that's fine, we can set that up as our default case. We'll say, by default, it's invalid. Let me go ahead and rename that, whoops, I wanted to remove my thingies. Rename the file. Thank you. Alright, we didn't test very much there. Let's go ahead and get a better test. So, let's say return true given valid ISBNs. Let's add some lines. How many of these we got here? That many lines, apparently. Okay. So those should all be valid ISBN numbers. Also, did you all know that you could do that trick with like the multi-line thing in Visual Studio? It's been in there for a little while, but not everybody knows how you can do those tricks. Should be true. So we're going to take in an ISBN, should return true. Yep, that looks right. Let's run that. So if you hold, so the way I did that was I hold Alt and I hold Shift and I can multi-line select. Now if I just hold Alt, nothing. If I just click and drag, I can do this. If I hold Alt and I click and drag, I can do this. So I'm holding the Alt key in order to do that. And Alt and Shift along with arrow keys to create a box like this. So, good stuff. Yep, it's neat. Yeah, exactly. Surly Dev, I believe the text editor in SQL Server Management Studio is based on Visual Studio in like almost every modern version. So when they update the Visual Studio editor, you also are getting improvements over in that. And yeah, those tricks work in Notepad++. And the keyboard shortcuts are different in VS Code, just so we're aware. I don't want anybody to run into that problem. VS Code has the same kind of like multi-line selecting. However, it is different stuff, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so this test is clearly failing. Why is it failing? Why is it not returning to... Oh, right, we didn't write any of the code. Alright, so how do we make sure that an ISBN number is right? So for now, let's say given valid ISBN 13. So we'll say is valid given ISBN 13. So those are ISBN 13s, so we'll make this one pass first. So how do we tell it is an ISBN 13? Well, first off, we said we don't care at all about spaces or any of these. So let's go ahead and remove all of those. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So we'll say clean ISBN equals ISBN.replace. We'll replace all of the spaces with nothing. Can I, oh, is it, oh, it would be like nothing with that, but I will do it this way, just because it reads better this way, I think. I think more people understand it when you read it that way. And then I'm also going to replace all of the dashes with empty string, like that. Now, there's a handful of ways that you could write this. You could write this so that you extract all the values that are valid. You could write this such that you do like a regex replace of the characters you want to remove, or you could regex like extract the values you care about. So we could just pull all the digits out of it, for example, and that would be valid, at which point we would say, I'm ignoring all characters except the digits. Okay, so there's our clean ISBN. Alright. Yeah, so we are allowed to have X also, as Mad Fox pointed out. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to say if clean ISBN length equals 13, it's possible we're going to return true. Right? So let's make sure that so this is going to fail now when we do that. So we're not done, but that's why we've got both sets of tests. Because I want to point out that when I get to this point, some tests are going to pass and some are going to fail because we're not done. Yeah, so rainbow sprinkles. We could absolutely use a regex to do the exact same thing and extract either numbers or the X, or remove everything that's not those. And either one would actually work. S&B, hey, welcome. Yes, long time no see. Okay, so as we pointed out, one of these ones was going to fail, and then the other ones were going to pass. And thank you for that 14-month resub. Greetings and welcome. Okay, where was I? So S&B, probably because I didn't stream when you would have been making your 14-month. So since you do a Twitch Prime, you have to show up to send it in. So it just would have been that there was like a missed month in there then, because I missed like 3 or 4 streams in a row, something like that, maybe 5. I missed a lot of streams. Yes. So Surly Dev, there's a couple of approaches to that. So if you are trying to learn TDD for the first time, I do recommend you do one test, make it pass, do another test, make it pass, do another test, make it pass, and do that slow, methodical approach. The reason why is because you need to learn both what are valid tests and what are valid amounts of code to write for your tests to pass. Once you have been doing it for a long time, most of us do these kinds of things where we'll set up a handful of cases because the difficulty to add the cases is very minimal, and the only drawback is that you can lose focus. So as long as you have the discipline to remain focused, it's not a problem to create those additional tests. But obviously, if you ever feel like that's getting away from you, just revert back to doing it the way that you did in your practice. So, Surly Dev, I appreciate it. Yeah, I obviously missed my streams. I really like being back on these. They're nice. Okay, so length needs to be 13. What are the other rules for these? Okay, so it's calculated by multiplying each digit alternately. Okay, so we have 13 digits. The only value we care about is the check digit. So why don't we do this? And check digit is valid. Clean ISBN. I think that's going to be a clear way to write this. Now, some people would say, oh, don't create that method, but I'm going to sit there and go, I'm going to extract the method in a moment. It's going to be clearer to me if I write it this way. So we're saying that. So check digit is valid if, multiplying each digit alternately by 1 or by 3. So first digit by 1, second digit by 3, so 1, 3, 1, 3. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Maybe this is crazy. I'm going to say, what would we do, up to 6? No, there's a couple of ways to do this. The 1 and 3 alternating. So here's my thinking. I could either do step by 6, right? Oh, actually, no. I will go to 12, and I will go up by 2. So here's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to increase my indexes by 2 going up to the top, and we're going to look at these values. So we're going to say clean ISBN I. This is going to be the first digit, and then okay, so it's calculated by multiplying each digit by 1 or by 3. So the ones you don't actually have to multiply, but the 3s you do. And then you sum them together, taking the modulo 3 of the result and subtracting this value. Okay. So let's just do sum equals 0. And we will say sum plus equals the ISBN that one plus the clean ISBN of I plus 1 times 3. So we're going to add those together, that, and then that should get us our sum. Then what do we do with the sum? Taking the modulo 10 of the result and then subtracting this value from 10. Do we really need to do the 10 minus the thing? Is that necessary? That seems like you don't need it. Or is that inverting it? Maybe it is. I'm going to have to think about that. Okay. Surly Dev. We're using XUnit on this one, though I am a big fan of NUnit as well. Both are very good unit testing frameworks in .NET. Choose whichever one you like. They've got slightly different syntax for the attributes on the tests, but for the most part, they work the same way. Yeah, so Surly Dev, back in the .NET Framework days, I always used NUnit, but when I switched to .NET Core, I did switch to XUnit and haven't looked back. It's fantastic. And yeah, Rainbow Sprinkles, a lot of people, myself included, like to jump in and write the code without writing the test, so it does take some discipline to make sure you do that. Mind you, I was on Twitch. TDD for a while, still love tests, but now I would call it I do test first development instead of test driven. Yeah, so Entity Atom, there is a lot of stuff for that. I totally agree. Hey Simon, welcome, greetings. Unit test, fake it easy. Awesome, SNB. I'm glad yes, that is a good setup. Current project I'm working on, we are using XUnit and we are using MOQ as our mocking framework. Well, not obviously. I did not choose those. I joined on the project after it already existed, and I am really tempted to get them to switch to Fluent Assertions, like Ace Flames here is freaking out about there. This is Surly Dev. First off, I would recommend that you could really go either way on XUnit or NUnit. For simplicity's sake, you could do NUnit because it is more. So it calls the attributes test fixture and test, and then just test, which should make sense. But if fact and theory don't seem confusing to you, then feel free to use XUnit. There's really not a big difference. So. Short answer is, I don't have a great answer for you. I use XUnit, so if you want to watch how we do it here on the stream, then XUnit. Yeah, exactly. So Entity Atom, I agree. I do something that, if you're someone that thinks the test-driven means that you do like one test, let it slowly evolve, I do that for practice stuff and occasionally for really complex algorithms that I'm trying to figure out. But for the most part, I also do test first. Yes, exactly. I generally think of TDD as the mindset of being, I need to write tests for this before I write the code. Okay, so the value we're going to return is 10 minus, this is what they said to do, taking the letters and then subtracting this value from 10. So 10 minus sum mod 10. This is So we're going to say clean ISBN. Wait a minute. What version of C# am I running? Getting excited here. It's C# 8. It's C# 8. Woohoo! Oh, this is going to be fun. It's not going to work. I'd have to two-string this if I were gonna do it. That's gonna be a character. So let's just get this last digit. Oh no, I don't want it that way. We can convert a character to a string. Why can't I two-string this? Oh, whoops. Derp. That's why, because I had an invalid thing in there. Those aren't needed because it's going to be 10 minus that. Should be remainder, so it'd be the inverse of the remainder of that. This is not perfect yet. We're not done. We need to add in the x. We don't technically handle that. Yes, C# 8, exactly. Let's see. You just code your project on your recommendation. You're going to restart with X unit. Then when you get stuck, you'll ask your questions. Sounds good, Surly Dev. Looking forward to it. I'm going to make it a VB. No, Surly Dev, you're not going to make it a VB project. No, that's not true. You're not going to do that. Yeah, no, Rick, not a noob question at all. This is brand new. This is C# 8. So this is new syntax in C# right here. This is a reverse index operator. So what that means is this means last item in the index right here. So that is what that means. Wait, someone just got like, Surly Dev, I am so sorry. Something you typed in was apparently considered to be a link, and Nightbot got overly aggressive on you. What? I'm summing his characters? What? Oh, yes, I totally am. That is funny. Good catch, Renee. Yeah. No, totally am. Let's do this. We are going to say int array numbers, and then check digit is going to be this one. Numbers equals clean ISBN select, and actually let's do this. Here, check this out. We're going to use new stuff. Up to that one, I think. Select and dot parse that. Doesn't like my character. It won't parse a character. Convert to int 32. Converts the... No, how do you parse that one? Yeah, so, caret 1 is actually the last item, Fuel Snable. Not 0 with the way that they wrote it. Oh, yeah, Surly Dev, yeah. Doing a .NET. Roland. So actually, funny enough, we've actually done Python on stream a couple of times. Every afternoon, yes, that totally is valid. That is a hilarious trick. No, we're doing it the way that every afternoon is suggested because it's funny. There you go, every afternoon. And then to array. Okay, I'm gonna have to explain that because that is hilarious. Yeah, that's a funny way to do it. So basically, if you know that in your computer all the characters and the strings are stored as a number, since 0 would be the first of the set of numbers, and they go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for like the digits. What that means is if you take the value of 0 and you subtract it from this, so here, let me show you what I mean. So if we take a look at like ASCII, for example, and we look for our characters, where are the numbers? Here they are. So 0 is right there at, say, 48. So if we take the number 49 and subtract 48, we get 1. If we take the number 50, which is 2, and we subtract 48, we get 2. So essentially that'll convert you from characters into what we consider to be numbers, and it is hilarious. Yes. No, I agree, S&B. It does smack of clever. So, to be honest, that is not actually the way that you probably should write that in C#, because we do have some classes that will do those conversions for you. But this is funny. So, yeah, I'm good with that for now. Okay, so we're going to do that. Those are numbers. That is digit. I think that's correct. I forget whether that second one is inclusive, which is terrible that I forget that. C#8 ranges inclusive. Where's the range? You just need to tell me if it's inclusive, guys. Indices and ranges. Range as I start and the start is inclusive, but the end is exclusive. Okay. So what that means is I actually want to go to that one. So we're going to the last one. So that should get me 12 numbers and that. All right, let's go ahead and try running that code. Yeah, no, Renee, it shouldn't be using some weird Unicode value. Which ones failed? Interesting. Oh, wait, what? Zeros? Expected it to be true, but found false. Interesting. Which ones failed? It's the one with spaces, and so it's the ones that end in 0. Let's find out why they failed. I bet it's the check digit. Willing to bet it's the check digit. So we'll just see if this is one of the strings that ends in 0. If it is, we'll figure out what's wrong with it. Okay, so that's not one of the ones that's gonna fail. That's not one. Kath, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Much appreciated. That's not one of them. This is one of them. Okay, so this is one of the ones that apparently is going to fail, so let's have a look at why. We got a sum of 100 on those numbers, which means we should end up with a 0. We have a... But this, I bet, is going to be 10, isn't it? Or something. So that's 10. So... But I'm confused why we ended up with 10. Yeah, but I'm wondering, like... No, we did it in the correct way. I'm just confused by that. So... $10 minus that, So if we ended up with 2, we'd end up with a check digit of 8, for example. But this almost feels like I need to mod it by... so the short way to make this suddenly start working is just to do this. Is to just do mod 10 again. And then that would suddenly fix it. But that feels like we modded too many times. So, like, let's run this, and it should work. There are some really impressive fonts and other stuff. Plutonin, hey, welcome. Yes, I am streaming. So that suddenly makes it pass. Also, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm wearing my well, this sleeve. Got my jersey on. Hey, look. Hey, DevChatter. Just in case you didn't know who I am. That's so that the green screen can tell who I am. Exclusive PR. You're learning to code. That's awesome. You want to do web development? You want to learn web development. You also want to learn electronics and hardware. I would recommend that you not do those. I mean, like, same time meaning like exact same moment. But yeah, you could learn those at the same time if you wanted. Neither one of those is so time consuming that you'd have to work on it every day. But yeah, you could alternate between those. Hardware, you're obviously going to have more like stuff around if you're doing that, whereas programming is pretty easy to clean up because, you know, just on a computer. But no, you could totally do that. Let's do this. Add another test case. And yeah, as Mad Fox is pointing out, you could combine that if you want. and get involved in something that is very specific. Bonnie Lice, hey, welcome, greetings. Glad you're able to catch one of the streams. But that should make that one pass. So let's go ahead and take a look at the extra credit. Let's jump back over to that and have a look. Making small web interfaces for your home automation. Yeah, Mad Fox is absolutely correct. That is an awesome suggestion. Oh, that is an interesting... First off, that is a hilarious link there, S&B, but I will have to check that out as well. Okay, so we did the basic one. We did ISBN 13. That function works. Returns true if it's valid, false otherwise. Advanced task. The check digit is basically to support ISBN 10. Okay, so this is 9 digits and a check digit, and it can be X. So, in order to do this... What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Crimson Green, hey, welcome. Yes, well, what is it? It's love, that's what it is. What is love? Shouldn't it be multiplied by 3 on even indexes on the string? For the ISBN 13, it's multiplied by 3 on the even digits of the string. That is true. I love our Chatosaurus emotes, just so we're clear. Tacos? And Nate, also coming in with a sub. Love equals 42. Yes, that is true. Michael Jolly, what is this? No, the Michael Jolly. You've never been to this channel before. This is the Dev Taco channel. My name is Dev Taco. And Plutonin is getting owned by the Nightbot, who I need to calm him down a little bit. Hang on 1 second, everyone. 1 second. And I'm back. Sorry about that. I figured nobody wanted to watch me blow my nose. Recovering from a cold, as I mentioned earlier in the stream. Okay. It's calculated by multiplying each digit by its position, summing these products together, and taking the modulo 11 of the result, with x being used if the result is 10. Okay. We can do that. So, first thing we need to do. And also, welcome everybody. Glad to see you're all here. Thank you for the fun and nice discussions on the stream. And Crimson Green, you spelled DevChamp wrong. You spelled DevChamp wrong. Yeah, I have to tone down Nightbot. Sorry about that. Okay, actually, before I do this, let me put in a couple of invalid ISBN 10 examples. Into this one. Oh, because they didn't come from over here. Derp. They were not multi-line selected, so that's why I was trying to put them in both. Okay, so we're going to take that, and we're going to take this. So that's going to be an 8, and that'll be a 3, which are both invalid check digits on that. And then that should make those pass. And then, just for the sake of argument, we'll make a 12-digit. Okay, let's make sure that those tests all pass for the right reasons. Oh, that's an interesting color. Snoopaloopy, take a look down below and you will find links about the music down below the stream. This is actually from Relax Daily, so you can find information about that down below. It's good stuff. I really enjoy this music for coding. So, yep, no problem. Okay, so those tests are passing, which means we can add this set of tests. Alright, so this should be true. Let's go ahead and get rid of these. We're going to blank out that. And let's hop over here. We're going to add these in like this. I don't know how many we need. Just going to put those down to there. There it is. Okay. So those are our valid ISBN numbers. So thankfully we were given sample data. We didn't have to figure these out on our own. That makes it a lot easier. So this is given valid ISBN 10 numbers. They're right there. Obviously that test is going to fail because we have not written the logic to validate an ISBN 10 yet, but we will. Okay, so the ISBN 10 ones fail for obvious reasons. Okay, so let's jump over here. So, first problem is, it said, hang on, I don't have a 13. So, let's go ahead and say, if length is 13, check that. Or length equals 10 and check that. So either has to be length 13 with a valid this, or it's got to be that one. So let's make this ISBN 13 is valid ISBN 13, and this will be is valid ISBN 10. Because we're going to make those two separate methods because they use totally different logic. Oh, Plutonin, yeah, I'm sorry. See, I haven't been streaming in a while, so I wasn't zoomed in. That's what I get, and thank you for yelling at me about that one. I really appreciate that, because I hadn't thought about it. So, wait, what? The winner's S&B. Oh, yeah, see, it was S&B, so it's not rigged, except Crimson now thinks it's rigged. Crimson, are you going to CodeMash this year? Is that what I'm hearing? Crimson Green's going to CodeMash? Wow, and that's funny, because I'm actually not going to CodeMash this year. I did, like, 10 years of CodeMash in a row. Maybe 11, I don't remember. Something like that. Okay, so we're going to go in here. It is valid if... So first off, let's grab our numbers. So these are the numbers we need to validate. So we're going to grab everything except the last number. And then the check digit is going to be the last one. Now, what are we supposed to do with this? We are supposed to, for this one, multiplying each digit by its position and summing them together. Okay, so step one is multiply all of those numbers. So we are going to... so we're going to do this one with link. So we did our last one with a for loop, but this one we're going to do with link because it's interesting. So let's say numbers, select So we're going to take our numbers, and we're going to say this is index and number. No, not numbers. Number. Don't help me. Okay, so index and then number, I think, if I'm remembering the order correctly. That's the problem with using integers. They're both ints. Okay, so we have index and number, and then we want to say... well, I guess they're multiplying together, so it doesn't really matter which one it is now, does it? Our value is going to be index times number. We're going to sum it together. And then what are we doing with this? Modulo 11. Mod 11. We're going to store this in a variable. And we're going to return check digit equals. We're going to say value equals 10. If it does, then we're going to have x I just realized I'm going to lower this. I know I'm not invarianting or anything like that. I'm just going to lower it so the x is always lower. So we're going to say x or value dot toString. Why did I call it value? Calculated digit? Calculated digit? Does that make sense? It's the one, because that's the one we calculated. And there's another person that will be at CodeMash. Yeah, I won't be there this year. I spoke at CodeMash 9 years in a row. Back from like, I don't know, like 2000. Like I first spoke there in like 2009, something like that. And kept speaking there up until only like a couple of years ago. So, when was the last time I spoke there? CodeMash 2018? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 2017 would be the last time I spoke there, I think. So, awesome, yeah. Well, thank you for stopping by the stream either way. But yeah, I spoke there quite a few times. It's a good conference. The organizers are good people. They put on a nice event. It's a really good community. So yeah, magenta can be a little harsh on the eyes sometimes. At least it's not lime in full screen. Lime hurts. Lime. White's not bad. What? Okay. Why did it fail? What did we do? What did we do? Let's drop a breakpoint there. We're gonna debug these. So why are these failing? What did we do? So that's 9 numbers. That is a check digit of 2. When we sum those together, we get 8 after the modulo. Are we supposed to be inverting? Did I skip an invert? It's multiplied by 9 digits. Oh! Oh, whoops. Nope, that's my bad. I screwed that up. That is totally on me. I did do this wrong. It's index plus 1. Index plus 1. That's why they're all wrong. Because the index started at 0. Skin Biscuits, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Yeah, see? I don't know when you said it, Renee, but yeah, you are totally right. Index is 0 based. Yeah. Yep, I totally missed it. Color changing overlay just died. Here's the way to check S&B. It might have. Yeah, it's not dead. It. Move and resize the follow alert. Yeah, I don't know where the follow alert was. I wasn't paying attention. Did it get in the way of actually seeing the stream? Coconut. I'm not sure coconut's a valid color for that. But, I think that is? Yeah, papaya whip. There's papaya whip. And crimson works also. Okay, so these ones failed, but that one works now. Alright, let's have a look again. Were we supposed to do like an invert again? Maybe we are supposed to invert. I don't know. Excuse me. Check digit is 2. We came back with 0. We came back with 0? 0 doesn't even make sense to me how that would work. Alright, so what is that? That's 1. So let's just by hand this real fast. So what that'd be 8 plus 21 plus 4 plus 30. Actually, why am I even doing that? We're just going to do this. One times the number. Okay. Sum them all together. Mod 11. Yeah, every afternoon. The order does matter now. That now that we're multiplying them that way. Well, I guess we could just do this here. We'll do it the basic way. And we'll say numbers.length. And we'll say up to and equals that. So now we'll say sum plus equals numbers I. Whoops. Actually, no, we are going to do it this way because otherwise the index gets weird. I, and then times I plus 1. So we'll do that. So number times that times that should get us a sum, and then we're going to say the digit is sum percent that. We'll do it the basic way. Just because we can read it a little bit more easily while we do that. Yeah, I changed it, Mad Fox. I flipped it the other way because this, I think, is going to be less confusing for people. Subtraction, I think people find a little bit more confusing. Okay, so we got 222 as our total. And that... yeah, that should work fine. And so it ends up with a 0. I am confused then. Is it possible our data's wrong? Or did I misread the instructions? Check digit. Checked is calculating each digit by its position, summing these and taking a modular. Each digit. Does that include the 10th digit? I'm actually not sure. Yeah, there might be an ISBN validator. ISBN 10. Don't care how it's issued. Yeah, the check digit. Some of the 10 digits. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Hey, Katrina. Hey, thank you for the 15-month resub, and welcome to the stream. Yeah, we can get some DevChatter in the chat. So, I think what that means... Wait a minute. Is that backwards? That's backwards. It goes the other way. It goes the other way. Oh my god. Yes, I missed everybody too. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for showing up, Katrina. It's backwards. The instructions on this kata, I need to yell at Steve. It looks like it goes the other way. According to this. Yeah, it goes the other way. That's so funny, which means we multiply by 10 minus I. And not only that, we check all the numbers. It was multiplying even the last one, which means the number itself has to match in that set. So, okay. I had no idea that was going to be that way, but sure. Wait. Digits. Zero times 10. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm not even 100% on that. Even after looking at that, I should have just run this. Why did I debug? I don't know why I debugged that. Just stop debugging. Let's just run it again. Run all the tests. What's going on? What is this? Yeah, it's still failing them, even with doing the 10. What a paradise. Hey, welcome. Greetings. Add them all together. Sum of all 10 digits by its weight in ascending order. Oh, if you do it in descending order like we did, it's going to be a mod 11 and always come out to 0. So that's why that's always 0. No, it is stating a different check. So this is an alternate check. So that's why I was confused by that. So if we do it in ascending order like this, each of the first 9 digits, excluding the check digit itself, is multiplied by its integer weight, descending from 10 to 2. Okay, so we are supposed to skip that one. The value is simply one number. Got it. So actually, we didn't need this. We just needed to do this. Hang on. Am I correct that we could just do this? Oh, does this make it valid? Is that what I just read? I think I just read that. Yeah, that makes it valid. It's always 0. There's an alternate way to check it. Let's run these. Thank you, Wikipedia. Okay, so basically, here's what was going on. Here's why it was confusing. Okay, let me explain. So, the reason you can verify that check digit, the way it says in these instructions that we got from the kata, is this number. Let's take a look. Well, let's actually look at the Wikipedia page because it'll show it better. So, if this is your ISBN number right here, whoops. Right here, you have this 0306400615 and then some other number on the end. The idea is if you take these numbers and you multiply them out, that last number, when you add it, is going to make this set a multiple of 11. So you need to put in whatever number will make that a multiple of 11. So right now, there's a test I need to add, and that is x. So we need to make our conversion to a number allow for x to switch. Yes, exactly. Renee's mentioning it right now. We need to make x work. Because the way the check digit works is we want to make sure that so the reason why I was failing before is because I was multiplying that last number. And that last number, because you do all 10, if you included it, because you multiplied it by nothing, as long as it comes out to be 0 in the end, that means that it was a multiple of 11. So that means your check digit worked. You had a valid check digit. So that means valid ISBN. So that's why we can now say, hey, let's make sure this is 0. So actually, I'm going to do that. So we're just making sure that it is divisible by 11. So the sum mod 11 should be 0. Okay. Now, what Renee is asking for is to test x. So we need an example that uses x. Did our kata have one? No. Steve didn't give us one. Thanks, Steve. You know what? Example. Were these examples? That looks like an example one. Whoops. Thanks, Wikipedia. Okay, so either that or... So select that, whoops, not on that one. We'll say x equals, then our number is going to be 10 or that. So I'm going to stop using this. Digit. There you go. Digit. That's a good word for it. Because I didn't want to say digit equals x. James, yeah, I would be glad to. I actually got really excited that I got the chance to use that on stream. So because we're using .NET Core 3, that means we're also in C# 8. So along with C# 8, two cool new things have come up. And that is, excuse me, reverse indexes. So the _1 right here says take the last digit. That's what that means. It's a reverse index. So this would be get the second to last digit, the third to last digit. So that is the last digit right there. This one says get everything in the array excluding that last one. So this is a way of getting a range of numbers. So if I wanted to get everything except for the first and last, this would get me everything except for the first and last numbers. If I wanted to get everything except the first number, I would write it like this. So all this means is get me everything except the last one. So in this case, this is going to get me the first 12, and this is going to get me the last one. We also could have written this as this. So this would say, get me the first 12 digits. Same thing, except written as the last index. So hopefully that makes sense. C# 8 finally gave us reverse indexes. They exist in a lot of other languages. They're frequently written with a negative sign. But we got carrots, I think, because it's probably easier for them to detect. I'm guessing it had something to do with parsing in the language or something. I don't know why the decision was made to use this. Mad Fox, why is there a check digit in the first place? You would have one order of magnitude more books if you just skip the... Yeah, I'm not sure why they use the check digit. I'm sure there's a reason. Hang on one second, everyone. And I apologize, everybody. That would have reset the color. So just to fix that for you. There you go. Have magenta back, since I know people love that color on there. Yeah, I'm not sure why they did that one, but hey, it's there. It is what it is. And all of our tests pass. S&B, I totally agree. The switch expressions in C#8 are nice. I'm also a big fan of all of the cool pattern matching stuff that they've done. So if you haven't taken a look at any of the neat stuff in C#8, either take a look at that online or attend one of the conferences that I speak at. Because most conferences, so I send like usually a variety of talks, but I always love putting in a talk about C# because it's something that I really enjoy the language, and I like sharing all the neat stuff that you can do in C# with people, because I think a lot of people don't realize what has been added over the years. So, yep, it's good stuff. Also, if anybody is so inclined, this is a good video game. There's also a novelization of it. I am holding a copy of the novelization. It has an ISBN number. An ISBN 13, it looks like. Nice and long. Yes, I have a lot of books within reach. There's a bookshelf next to me. You don't keep bookshelves next to you when you write code? A switch expression like VB.NET had in .NET 2. Yeah, Simon, exactly. Twitch Purple. That might be Twitch Purple, Mad Fox. Did you look it up? Hey, Ace Flameseer, you spelled it right. Good job. Well done. Not many people can spell that word. Oh, you Googled it. Oh, yeah. The way I remember how to spell it is I say it in my head the way you'd say that if it was a K instead of an H. And that's how I remember how to spell it. It's just, yeah. That's how you remember it. If you just remember that that's the way you'd spell it, and you're like, and then just switch the K into an H, and you're like, got it. That's easy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Mad Fox, that makes total sense. Okay, so let's clean this up, because this code got kind of cruddy. So I like the idea of lowering everything right at the beginning. But then, that's funny. I don't even do the check digit on that one, because we just convert it no matter what. But we could do this right off the bat. Length minus I? Length minus I? Which, do I have length minus I somewhere? Mad Fox? To invert the summing? Oh, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, you're right. That is the length. So we could write it that way if we want. That's a little bit cleaner than having the number in there. Ten minus this. There's got to be a simpler way of writing this. There's got to be a simpler way of writing that. That seems complicated to me. But maybe there's no way around it. Might not be a way around it. I'm not seeing one that's obvious. Anybody else see one that's obvious? I don't. Wait, what? Math makes it look cleaner. Wait, what is this? Check wiki page for ISBN 13. They might have a different way of stating the condition. Oh, yeah, exactly. Every afternoon. That might be right. Body lice. String math. Oh. Yeah, you're suggesting that we do this. And yeah, that might be a little bit cleaner to do it that way. That's probably a little bit cleaner. I like that. Let's make sure everything still passes. All tests passing. Crossing those fingers. Hey, there we go. That is a good point. Let's have a look at the ISBN 13 check digit explanation in here. Okay. So it ranges from 0 to 9, and it must be such that the sum of all 13 digits is a multiple of 10. Oh. Hang on. Wait a minute. 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Three. Oh wait, but okay. No, that's exactly how we're doing it. Mod 10. And then the challenge is that even when we do that, we still end up with a 10. So that's why we modded 10 again. Yeah, exactly. A 0 replaces 10. So, alternately, what we could do, if we wanted to do it differently, would be to change what we were checking on the check digit. Or we could do this. We could do a character of the check digit and say get the last one. Would that work? Can only be 10. I think that works. Let's try it. What do you all think? Is that gonna work? Should be a single digit. Why does it seem like that's still running? Restore completed? What are you doing, Visual Studio? Okay, let's put this in here, and then it has a 7. I just want to make sure this actually runs. Do you want some more special characters in that line? How bad is it? I didn't actually look. Okay, yeah, it looks like the tests are still running. What's it doing? Whoops. Yeah. I wonder what's going on with that, S&B. Looks like the tests are all passing, though. So that's good. As I read it, you can sum all 13 digits. The result should be divisible by 10. Yeah. Exactly, Renee. So I think what that means is if I add the 13th digit, so if I just do the sum, you're saying that I can, so I think you might be right. So we're saying sum plus numbers, well, you know, if we just did all the numbers, if we just said numbers, if we grab the last number, we just said sum plus that one because it's going to be multiplied by 1 because it's an odd number. Mod 10 equals 0. I think that's what we're saying. Might be another valid way to write it, but I'm not 100% if that one's actually true. But we'll give it a quick try and see what this says, and then we'll see if we can find that as a thing on the wiki page. Yep, looks like it does. At which point we don't actually need the check digit. We just do this. Which that's way cleaner. Yep. Way easier. At which point, I now notice some similarities here. Now, the only difference is this one has an X in it, but since the other one doesn't have X's, we can almost be like, yeah, I agree, S&B, that got much simpler. But this code is almost exactly the same now. So now looking at this, can we make these the same? We just need to pass in what the multiple selection is. Mad Fox, I'm hoping to get rid of that entirely, actually. And technically, since we're going up by 2, we could just go with less than length. But we're going up by 2 on that one. So let's change the way we do this. Let's go up by 1s again. Let's go to numbers.length. And then we're only going to add 1 at a time. We need a multiplier here. So what is the multiplier? The multiplier is if the first number is going to be 1, which means if it's an even I, then it's a 1. Whoops. There's how we select our multiplier. This will do all the numbers, and so then we don't need to add in the last number. So we just say sum. Alright, so if I didn't mess that up, then our test should pass, and we should be good. Now the advantage here is that when I do this, our methods are getting closer together, so we might be able to make this one method for doing the validation. Yep, there it goes. Still green. So let's have a look. Can we get this in here? Can we make these the same? we'll be allowing X in our 13 digit, but we could make a check for that, like say if it's 13, make sure they're all digits, for example. So at which point, it's just the multiplier that we have to figure out. So that's the multiplier. Simply check on length and calculate. Yeah, so here's what I'm thinking. What if we make this a function that takes in an integer and returns back an integer, and we'll call this the multiplier calc. So this will get us our multiplier. Right? Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing here, Simon, except I'm not using an extract method directly. You should write stuff the third time before looking for the correct extract. I don't know if that's necessarily the saying. That's usually the way that I also do that. Usually on the third time is when I extract out the duplication. Though, in this case, 2 is sometimes a good point to extract the duplication. Depends on how similar it is. So, the other piece is this. That is a parameter. So what is this? This is check divisor. Almost. So then this one, I need to do the same thing. I want to make a function that does that. This is the calculation of the and then up here I want to say that. Now these, I want these to be methods, not lambdas, but I'm just writing it this way to start with, because this works well enough for right now to make it function. Then once I've done that, this is the check divisor, right? Are these identical now? Aside from this code? Yep, they are. Let's make sure it still passes this way. Cross your fingers. Okay. So we're going to get rid of the extra method here, like that. Now we're going to rename this. is valid check digit. Why don't we say has valid? Has valid check digit. It's 13 and has a valid check digit. Will you make this a method for me? To a named method, and we'll call this ISBN 13 multiplier. And then same thing on this one. We want this to be a named method, and this will be an ISBN 10 multiplier. There you go. Doesn't like my naming. I'll go ahead and let it change it. And actually, the funny thing being, I am going to expression body those just because they're so simple. But I will make these be index, just because they're not in a for loop right now, and so it doesn't have the context that everybody understands I is an index variable, but here, since it's not, I do want to make sure that everybody gets that that is my control loop variable. Okay, so now those are the same thing. We now say, hey, if it's length 10 and has that, if it's length 13 and has that, then that works pretty well. What else? So the only problem right now is that we are allowing an X anywhere, which I'm not, like, technically you could put an X in the middle of the string somewhere. I didn't verify that, really. If we wanted to actually be safe about that, we could do something where we made this set and then, like, unioned on the last one using this concept. Just replace the magic 10 and 11 with constants. Yeah, exactly. These right here could just become... let's replace this with... ISBN 13 divisor, and that is a constant. This could be the ISBN 10 divisor, and that should have been a constant. Derp. Okay. Let's see. Because alternately, we could actually make it so this is a function that takes in the length as well, instead of having to have that 10 hard-coded there. But it is an ISBN 10, so it's not the worst thing. It's hidden away in a tiny method. Looking at this now, I almost want to do. I almost want to convert this into the select now, but I don't think I'm going to do it because it's just silly. Some divisor, yep. That's the check divisor. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, technically, instead of doing this, we could just, since all we're doing is return true in there, I could just return this. Whoops. Remove the redundant, put that in there. Oh, I did not mean to debug, but sure, debug it. That's fine. Yeah, we should probably do a function for that. You are correct, Renee. Extract a method. We'll say string as digits. Why don't I change that to as digits? Whoops. What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. Yeah, hey, that's funny. Isbn's like, now making an extension method. And I did. And you can also convert that to expression syntax. I could make it expression syntax, although I think this one's a little complex to have as expression syntax. Because I end up with this. Well, it's not that bad. The question is, what do I want to do about... Like, the thing that's still bugging me on this is this thing here. Like, that, like, 10 or this. Is there a way I could, change that? Oh, there's a way to cheese it, and I just thought about that would be horrible. There's a terrible way to mess it up. That would be awful and no one should do, but I just thought of it's funny. Oh, I guess we don't know if it's yeah. Put out to a method, so it gets a descriptive name. If we turn it into an array first, and then if we did it this way, and wrote, if we did this, hang on. I think this would be less bad. Yeah, it doesn't yet work. No, if you want really bad, it would be this. I think this would technically work, but we're not doing that. We're not leaving it like this. I just want to confirm that it would work this way. Yeah, it does. Exactly, you do 10 minus 0. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you could do 0 plus 10. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem, Simon. I don't want anybody to have to think about math. Yeah, exactly. This doesn't really cover it well. So I think the answer is we go back to the way it was a moment ago, right here. We go back to this, and then this maybe comes out as it's a local function at the end, and this is do I need that? Static function number. Oh, Renee, that is a great suggestion. Wait, isn't that what I'm doing? Instead of digit right C. Is that 10 or that? It's a private method that returns a function now. Oh, is there? Yeah, but that won't handle our X still is the problem. So we could do... Oops, we could do this instead of that, I think. Oh, that does it as a double? Hang on. Yeah, it does it as a double. I don't know why that does a double. Yeah, but I don't want to have it as a double is the problem. Because then I have to cast it to an int, which is also silly. Yeah, I'm really surprised that it goes to a double. Like, it's a single character. Why would character handle that? You know what we could do? S&B, yes, static local functions. Yep. They are now available. I mean, the two-number function does kind of give it some context there, Simon, but you're right. It's not super clear on it. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's why it would go to a double, is because there are fractional values that it could have in there. Yeah, I didn't think about that. It would be nice if they. And this is the only part that's weird. Well, we'll do it this way then, since we've got it in this method. We'll force it to an int. It's that. Should this be a constant up somewhere else? Almost feel like it should be. Let's run the tests again. We made a couple of changes. No, S&B, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. Yeah, no, Simon, I agree. I like having pieces where I can usually guess what's going to be inside of a method just based on the name. And any given abstraction level, I can understand it without having to look in the details of how it was done. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't write that way. Someone probably pointed to that at some point. Define x equals 10. Thanks, Mad Fox. Yeah. Oh, I agree. Saying if C is 10, then 10. Otherwise, do that. That's why we pulled out that constant. I think that makes it a lot clearer as well. So we've got a static int, toNumber, takes in a character C. Got that conversion there. I guess that doesn't technically have to be an array. We're only going to convert it once. An IEnumerable of ints. Ooh, I lengthed. Never mind. We'll go back. Because I don't for each it, I for it. Yeah, no, I could count, but that requires an enumeration again. And I mean, if we really wanted to make this clearer, whoops, I did not mean to invert. We could do that. So, because it's now inside the method, so yeah, I think in this context, because we're not using the ternary operator, I agree. I think it suddenly becomes clearer if we're like this. I think this now is a little bit clearer what's going on. Just because of how simple this is now. You could do C equals X and save on the two lower. You'd go back to this and inline the local method. Inline it? As in, like, you'd actually put it inside the select? I mean, I guess you could. No, that's not what I meant to do. You could go to this then. Is that clear? At which point I'd pull the constant out. And then you don't need that. You just say this. But see, that doesn't seem as clean to me. Because that seems confusing again. Even with the constant pulled up there and everything in line. Because now I think we've done too much in a single line. Maybe if I were at this stage with an if statement, this might be clearer. But even then, I feel like I like the method better. Yeah, I like the method better. I think this is the most clear. It takes more lines, but you can look at that and be like, select, oh, to number to array. Okay, so we're just taking each digit, we're converting it to a number, and then returning that whole set as an array. And then we have this simple to-number method that is just dead easy. Yeah, exactly, Renee. I agree. You had to think when reading the select. Yep. I think Renee is on a good delay. I get that impression, but yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way I would go with that. Looks good. I totally understand what's going on in that. Heck, if we really wanted to, we could do something else with it as well, but I think it works well there. Does the for loop make sense? Yeah, I think that looks good. Let's run our test, make sure we didn't break anything. Yeah, seems to work. Could you please try to add this string to your test? No, Andre, I'm not. I am well aware that there are invalid ISBNs that we're going to say are correct. If we really want to check those, we can do something like this. This is an ISBN 10. Yeesh. Ah, Renee, yes, you're on a tablet. I have that problem. When I use my iPad to watch a Twitch stream, I'm usually 20 to 40 seconds behind. But yeah, I responded to you when I saw your message. So you can actually do a check, like when your message appears in the chat, that's when it actually got to me. DSL? Oh! What? Avocado? Tardigrade, greetings, welcome. So some simple checks that we could put in are things like only the last digit can be like everything needs to be a digit except for the last one on a 10, for example. So we could actually do some of those checks if we wanted to separate these out. We could say like, if length equals 13, then we could return whether or not it has this, for example, and we could say, if ISBN length equals 10, then we could do this. Otherwise, we return false. So we could do this, for example, which is another way of writing basically the same thing. Oh, domain-specific language. Yes. I was like, DSL? Are you suggesting that Renee might be on DSL? I'm not sure where you're going with this, but yes, I got you now. We're on the same page. Okay, so if length equals 13, return when it has digits. Well, I guess we're always returning, so from inside of there. So if we went in, we returned. We could do that. We could say, in this one, they all have to be digits. And then in 10, we could do this. We could say dot dot caret 1 all digits and is digit would technically verify that. Yeah, exactly, Simon. Do a regex. Yeah, exactly. Person who is so so the dot dot caret 1. This is C#8 only syntax. This is using 2 new features of C#8. This is using ranges as well as negative indices. So range means that we're going to return back multiple values, not just a single digit with our index here. So we are using the index operator, but instead of getting back one result, we're going to get back a collection of results. And this says, since I didn't specify the initial one, I could have said an initial starting point. So this says from the beginning of the string, so get from the beginning of our collection all the way until the last one. And that's exclusive. So if I did this, this would mean get everything in the collection except for the first and the last value. And then this is the same thing as what I just wrote. This says get everything including the first value but excluding the last value. So you don't have to include the 0 if that's what you're doing. This is get me the whole collection right here. So just the ellipses says just get me the whole thing. If I wanted to get from the 5th element until the end, this would do it. I guess that would be the 6th element because index starting at 1. But I could also say if I want to get all the items, so if I want to get the first 2 items, this would get me the first 3 items, sorry, excuse me. So that's how the indices work. But since I want everything except the last value, that'll get me everything except the last value. So that's all that means. Negative indexes, so just start the end and head towards the beginning. Have you heard details about the new Microsoft Desktop App UI Dev Framework that is meant to replace UWP? Simon, I do not have details on that. But I really do want a framework to replace WPF and UWP and such. Because while I like those, they are aging. And we really could use a lighter weight solution, is the short answer to that. I want a nice, lightweight, fast framework. So, we'll see what we end up getting. There's a lot of stuff. What's wrong? Okay, to be fair, Plutonin, there's nothing wrong with XAML. You can do a lot of neat stuff with XAML. However, I do want them to rev and get us some newer modern stuff. And yeah, Fuel Snable's not wrong. The idea being that for anybody that likes C# and wants to keep using it, we need to have a newer framework come along to replace the old ones. Yeah, Renee, it's going to be YAF, yet another framework. Blazeron. Yeah, so let's put it this way. My hope for what they set up for a new GUI framework for us is I want them to make us a lightweight lightweight framework that lets us build applications for Windows, like desktop OS Windows, 100% as absolutely possible. Now, if they want it to additionally work on other screens, sorry, Fuel Snable, by lightweight, I'm more talking about the application itself. XAML's too big and clunky in my mind, and I don't want the application to be like, 500 megs just to run the darn thing. So I want it to be low footprint, just spins up, it's quick, it's easy. Yeah. Anyway, the short answer is, if it runs, so if they make it so it runs nicely on mobile devices, cool. I am totally fine with that. Like, if they want it to be like a Xamarin replacement kind of thing, that's totally cool. But at the end of the day, it has to run nicely as a Windows application. There are already great frameworks for making mobile applications. Now, if you can get me a good framework that'll build nicely on iOS and Android and on Windows, cool. But if I sacrifice Windows to get mobile development, then I'm not on board. So I kind of feel like you need to have both of those stories. If you need to have the mobile story and the desktop story if you're going to go that route. At the end of the day, I think Microsoft needs to realize that their niche, their market is in businesses right now. They did not make consumer mobile devices. That is not the market that they managed to get into, and that even goes for the development. I mean, as much as Xamarin is a cool idea and you can build amazing stuff with it, even among developers, it's certainly not the most popular way to build mobile devices. And yes, as Plutonin mentions, there are tons of devices running Windows. You can still build Windows apps, and businesses do build programs for Windows all the time. So the fact that it still exists is well, yes, of course it is. And it's not just developers. Plenty of gamers as well. Lots of Windows machines out there in the world. Okay, let me click some buttons here. That's doing that. What's going on over here? Do 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 do. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Well, I want to make sure that I thank all of you guys for hanging out with me, everybody that was in here, and I said guys, but obviously, ladies, gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with me today. Everyone, really. If you are a human and not a machine, and you enjoyed watching our stream today, I really appreciate it. This was my comeback stream because I missed a whole bunch due to a variety of reasons. I missed. I was at a funeral for one. I've been in hospitals for other ones. I was not the person that was like, you know, checked into the hospital. I've been so funny enough. This hiatus started from I was sick on a stream, and now this last one I was sick for as well. So I want to thank you all for coming out again because, well, it had been a while. So I was really glad that people showed up. Fox McCloud, hey, greetings, welcome. Are you late to the party? Well, we're glad you made it either way. I tossed a bunch of links in the chat to our Discord, our GitHub, our YouTube, and our Twitter. I do want to make sure that people know that our Discord is actually a place where you really can talk to people. So I am serious. If you haven't joined our Discord, you probably should. And I also recommend people follow me on Twitter. Those are the two places to get notified about these streams. I did let people know today, this morning, that there was going to be a stream today. Take care, S&B, and Katrina and Simon and everybody else that said something here in the outro. Thank you for hanging out today. It was really fun. Body Lice, thanks. Renee, really glad to have gotten this stream in. I want to make sure I click the credits button because we had some credits. We got to roll. So I want to make sure that I thank everybody for helping out with the stream. I want to thank our moderators, Brendonius, that guy is awesome. Katrina, Crimson Green, S&B, thank you for showing up and helping out with the stream. I want to make sure that I thank Skin Biscuits, Kafu, Kenla, Ozv, and for following, and S&B, Crimson Green, Nate, and Katrina, thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. You all are amazing and get awesome emotes as a result. And yeah, everyone, I should be back for next Saturday as well. I don't see any reason why I won't get that stream. I am still hoping I can get in some weekday streams, but those are not going to be able to get scheduled, so they'll be one-offs. I might tweet them out or Discord them, so make sure you're following the channel. If you're not, you probably won't get the notification. So if you're following the channel, you'll get a notification when I actually go live. Like Twitch will send you one, but if you follow me on Twitter or Discord, there's a better chance of getting an advanced notification. Discord usually gets the best information on when I'm going to be streaming, but either way, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Happy coding. Oh, US, don't forget, tomorrow your clocks are going to change on you automatically, so you're going to get an extra hour of sleep unless you're a parent, at which point, you know, sorry, you're out of luck, or if you have dogs or something like that, sorry, you're out of luck. There's no such thing as extra sleep when you have that, but for anyone that's, you know, US, Europe, since I'm in the US, my stream time's going to shift for next week, because we'll be back in sync, because a lot of other parts of the world shifted off of daylight savings time last week, and we shift tomorrow. So either way, have a good one, everyone, and I will see you next time. Take care.